Before we get started, please go over to Amazon.com and grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African-American son in public school, you need this book because I teach you the many ways that public schools mistreat African-American boys and what you can do to help your son. So go over there and get your copy immediately. So, the younger black men who voted for Trump really played the fool. I mean, really played the fool. Trump just used them and walked over them and deceived them. And that big disinformation machine that the GOP has really worked on those younger black men overtime. And as a result, he increased his numbers with those younger black men fairly significantly, although most African Americans, including men, did not vote for him. But here's why I say that, for two reasons. Number one, in a few weeks, we can get the House back. We can take the House back because there are 3 elections that are going to occur. And if we work really hard between now and then, perhaps we can get all 3, at least 1 or 2. At this point, any will help, okay, to stop what we see Trump doing. That's the first reason I'm saying that. The second reason is because of some comments that have been made about Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show. MAGA really disrespected black men and hip-hop culture because they were very, very unhappy with that show. All right, now let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. This will certainly you'll see. Here we go. All right, so Benny Johnson, someone I introduced you to. I'll show you in just a moment. Here was his reaction to Kendrick Lamar's show. And as you all know, I didn't watch the Super Bowl or the show. But here's some of the reactions. Hey, NFL, Trump won. We no longer, listen to this, let talentless, mumbling, pagan, satanic, cultists do halftime shows and pretend like people like it. Let me read it again. This is what Benny Johnson, and I'm going to remind you of who he is in just a second. Hey, NFL, Trump won. We no longer let talentless, mumbling, pagan, satanic, cultists do halftime shows and pretend like people like it. So that is a very, very, very low opinion of Kendrick Lamar, his halftime show, black men, black people, the whole ball of wax. Now, who is this guy? You know him. I introduced you to him in a video that I did back in November 2024. Let's see if you recognize his face. There he is. You remember the video I did of a white guy going into the hood and getting black men on the record disrespecting Kamala Harris. This is Benny Johnson. And so all he did was exactly what you see. He just put the mic in the faces of a whole lot of dudes in the hood, and all of them went on the record disrespecting Kamala Harris and speaking up for Trump. Hello, everyone. I got great news. The merch is finally here. We've been waiting and waiting, but we can finally begin branding our channel. But we need your help to get our brand out there. If you like what we provide and like what you see, please go to the channel and grab your hoodie, your t-shirt, your mug, and we got more designs and products on the way. Just visit our YouTube channel at the Defiant Lawyers Network. Also, we will donate a portion of each dollar you spend on our merch towards some nonprofit. And remember, as always, stay woke. Just loving on Trump, loving on MAGA. When the whole time, here is what he thought of those men, hip-hop culture, black people generally. He says, we no longer let talentless, talentless. And that wasn't just Kendrick Lamar. That was a bunch of people on the stage, including Sam Jackson. So all the blacks involved in that particular halftime show, he called them talentless. Now, I guess he was okay watching a whole bunch of African-American men banging their heads together to entertain him. But the song, the art, the expression, he considers talentless. He considers it mumbling. Mumbling. And then he goes on to say, pagan. And I thought Kendrick Lamar, out of a lot of rappers, he tends to make some references about God, about Christianity. But in this dude's eyes, they are pagan. But then he goes deeper. Satanic. Satanic. He feels like what Kendrick Lamar and those other folks did on stage during the halftime show is satanic. Inspired by Satan, in honor of Satan. This is the guy that was laughing and grinning with these black dudes in the hood, getting them to disparage Kamala Harris so that he could put that in videos and pumping up and loving on Trump. That's why I said black men who supported Trump played the absolute fool. Because do you really even have to tell these people what these white supremacists literally think about black people? Well, one of the reasons why you do have to tell these younger black men and some women is because they reject the knowledge that us elderly folk who know white supremacists try to give them. They say we're old school, old guard. Well, let me tell you something. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 9 says, there's nothing new under the sun. You know what that means? Everything is old school because there's nothing new. White supremacy is not new. So when they reject the knowledge, the wisdom, the experiences of us elderly folks, those of us who are older, who've been through this, who know what a white supremacist is, who knows what white supremacy is, who've experienced racism, deep core racism, we know that the faces may change, but the devils are the same. Yet these, and they call themselves the new black media. And they're making fools of themselves. And sadly and unfortunately, they're making fools out of the African American community because what Trump does and what MAGA does and people like this guy, what they're doing will impact all of us. And just look at him cheesing and grinning. And this is what he actually feels about those young men. As he grin in their faces, this is what he really feels. And this is probably keeping it light. Talentless, mumbling, pagan, satanic, cultists. They're in a cult. And advise the NFL not to allow them to do halftime shows going forward. And make people pretend like they like it. Yeah, this is Benny Johnson. That's his name. And he was out there just laughing and grinning, especially when they disrespected Kamala Harris. Oh, that's probably why he's cheesing so much now, because this guy here probably said something really ugly about Kamala. You can go back and watch the video. Go back and watch the video I did of him being in the hood, getting this actual footage right here. Go back and watch it. And now that you know precisely what he thinks about them, I tell you, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. These young men should know that they're dealing with white supremacists who despises them. White supremacists who literally hate them, despise them, and does nothing. They do nothing but try to use these African-American men. But that's not all. Here's this guy, Eric. Raise your hand if you survived the Black nationalist Super Bowl halftime show. Here's what he really thinks. Black nationalists. He called it surviving. These are MAGA folks. These are the people that these younger black men voted into office, who've been doing nothing but dismantling as much blackness as they can. And some of these young black men are telling folks that this crowd of people, Trump and this crowd of people, are going to give blacks reparations or some other tangibles. This is crazy. This is completely crazy. This is totally crazy. Lauren Boebert, we all know her. She's in Congress. She says, tell me I'm not the only one needing subtitles for this. Wow. And then this dude, George Santos, the one who made his way to Congress with a bunch of false statements and so forth, he said the Super Bowl halftime show was absolute trash. This is what they think of us. And when they come laughing and grinning in your face, you should know better than to give them what they want. All that guy wanted, all he wanted, especially this Benny Johnson guy, was to go into the hood and just get these kinds of shots right here to say that black men support Trump. Yet here's what he really thinks. We no longer let talentless, mumbling, pagan, satanic cultists do halftime shows and pretend like people like it. And he said Trump won, meaning we no longer let. We're in control of this. We run this, and we don't let these so-and-so and so's come and entertain us. We only want the entertainment out there on the field, those black men breaking their heads, entertaining us. We don't want this other stuff. And it's those people in the hip hop community who love MAGA the most. And this is what they really think about them. We must do better. This younger crowd who's trying to exert themselves and be the leaders of our community, they are not ready. Because they won't do a very simple thing. Listen to those of us who know white supremacists. We know them. We know what white supremacy is. I can smell it coming a mile away. I can see it. I can see it beyond the smile. Because I've been dealing with them all my life. I know what they are. And the younger black men, they think they have figured this out. That what we got to tell them is old school, the old guard. And again, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says clearly, there is nothing new under the sun. Everything you learn is old school. So if you learn something new today, somebody else already learned it, 100 years ago. I don't know. So this is what they really think about those young men. All right? I had to bring this to you. And this is probably lightweight. This is only 5 of these people. There are many more. Many more, because they've all been upset about this. They've been all upset about Kendrick Lamar's performance on stage there when he was, performing. All right. Anyway, I am Reverend and Civil Rights Attorney Augustus Corbett. Thank you for watching this video. Please share it. And until the next time, remember, you know what I'm going to say. Stay woke.